Hello everyone, and welcome to Moon Arcade, the place set in space full of video games. Except it's not actually in space, but video games, there's plenty of those. My name is Sylvia. I'm the one who runs this Moon Arcade thing, and today I'll talk about one of my favorite mobile games. I've been playing for 2 years and I know it's kind of been rising in popularity, and the game itself is not very clear in some things that you need to know to play. So I've decided to gather all my knowledge of how to play this game and put this guide together. The game is Identity V, a 4 versus 1 survival horror game. Sounds fun, right? So if you're interested in learning how to play, or maybe you're not but you have nothing else to do, stay tuned and keep on watching this guide. We're getting right into it. Let's begin with talking about what is Identity V exactly. You start as Orpheus, a detective who has lost his memories and is asked to investigate some mysterious disappearances, which are all related to a place called the Oletus Manor. When our character gets to the Oletus Manor, we find out that the people who went missing were all stuck in a deadly game where they had to run to survive. And that's when we get introduced to the gameplay. In Identity V, there are 2 factions in which you can play. You can play as a survivor and you can play as the hunter, and these 2 factions have very different objectives. As a survivor, you play in a team of 4 people, which can be random players or even your friends. And your goal is to keep as many teammates as possible alive, as well as open the gates and escape. In order to open the gates, the survivors have to decode 5 cipher machines during the game, before the hunter kills all of them. And that's the hunter's objective: make sure that no one gets to open the gates and escape. That's pretty much everything that the game explains to you in its tutorials, as well as how to interact with your surroundings during a match. Now, let's dive deeper into these roles and how you can prepare before getting into a match. As a survivor, the characters you can choose from can cover up to 4 different roles, which are Rescue, Support, Decoder, and Kiter. A Rescue is a pretty straightforward role. The characters who are rescue have skills that help them rescue a teammate who has been caught. When the hunter hits you, they will bring you to a chair which is timed. Before the timer reaches its end, a survivor can rescue on the chair. If you get rescued before the middle line, when the hunter puts you on the chair a second time, it will have a second timer. Once you've been on the chair for the 3rd time, you will leave the match. Having a rescue on your team helps in keeping as many teammates as possible in a match. A support is a very versatile role, as characters who are supports are there to help their teammates in anything they do, whether it's rescue, kiting, or decoding. A decoder has skills that help the decoding of the 5 ciphers go faster, so they're usually really fast at finishing ciphers and really just at that, as they sometimes have traits that disadvantage them in situations where they have to rescue or kite. And now you're going to ask yourself, what is kite or kiting? Which brings us to our last role, the kiter. In game, they're technically not kiters, but that's what the player base calls them. Kiting is essentially the act of containing the hunter. So if the hunter is going after you and you can run around the same area without getting hit, or in general keeping the hunter focused on you for a long time, that's kiting. But that sounds absolutely horrible. Why would I want to play someone like that? And it's definitely a stressful role. However, having a good long kite will distract the hunter from pursuing other teammates, who can instead decode much faster and open the gates. Now, here is the catch. All these things I've listed above, no matter what character or role you want to play, you need to know how to do. You can pick a character who is a support, and it will give you an advantage in supporting your teammates. But you might be put in situations where you still need to kite and to rescue, and definitely the code. Moving on to the hunter role. There isn't much to say because in theory it's a pretty simple role, but in game it gets so much more complicated. The hunter role doesn't have different roles, but each hunter has skills that make the match difficult for the survivors. As a hunter, you also get extra traits that can help you win against certain survivors. For example, one of the most common is Blink, which can close the distance between the hunter and the survivor. Or Teleport, which can give you more map control. Hunters have strategies based on their skills and the survivors they play against, even based on which map they play on. Since you have to purely rely on yourself against 4 survivors, playing as a hunter will have you think your moves more thoroughly. However, a common strategy within hunter players is camping, which is guarding the chair to assure that rescues aren't being done or make the rescues much more difficult. Depending on the hunter you play, camping will be based on your skills and passives that can make the rescuers struggle and waste their time. We are almost to the end. We've basically covered the basics of playing Hunter and Survivor on Identity V. So what there is more to say about this game? More than you think, actually. One major feature of the game is the logic path and the gacha system. As any free game in existence, Identity V also has its loot element and paid content, which in this case are cosmetics. With each season that comes, new skins for the characters are available in essences, which you can also find in the logic path. The logic path is exactly a path that has a bunch of different rewards, such as inspiration, which you can use on essences, clues, which you can use to unlock characters, essences, and even a free A skin, if you play a lot. And you'll have to know, Identity V is not just about the normal matches 4 versus 1, but there are plenty of different game modes that have a different gameplay for you to enjoy, such as Duo Hunters, Tarot, Blackjack, and there are plenty new ones coming in. And I was about to forget about one thing which is crucial for your character and gameplay. This is a persona, which are extra traits that will help you while playing. As you start, you'll get points to unlock these traits and see what makes your gameplay improve and what not. Each persona has 4 main traits of which you can only unlock 2. One really important one, and that everyone always carries, is Borrowed Time, which gives you a speed boost when the last cipher is done. Hunters have the same concept of a persona, but of course with traits that help them against survivors, such as Detention, which makes the hunter able to one-hit survivors after the last cipher is done. Okay guys, that's it. This is basically everything that there is to know to this game. But I wanted to finish off with some tips and tricks for you new survivors or hunters out there. First thing I want to say is, when playing as a survivor, don't be scared of interacting with your surroundings and try out kiting. I know it can be scary at first or stressful for others, but don't just run around the map with no purpose. Look out for pallets and windows and use them to your advantage. It might not always turn out well, but we all learn from our mistakes, and maybe next time you'll know a bit better when to drop a pallet or how to use a window. One crucial thing that every Identity V player needs to know is how to prime your cipher machine. And what does it mean to prime the cipher machine? When there is only one cipher machine left and most of your team is still alive, make sure to prime the machine up to 99% and wait before popping it. The moment your last cipher machine is completed, the gates will be shown and Borrowed Time, remember the trait on your persona, will be activated, healing survivors and giving them a speed boost. Priming your cipher machine and popping it at the right time will completely turn around your match and give you a chance to win. Another thing for survivors, please, please, please use the messages. Identity 5 does not have a voice chat, and the preset messages are our only way of communicating. And we all know how important communication is in a team-based game. It might take a while to get used to, but spam that cipher process machine. You hear a heartbeat? Send out a hunter is nearby. You found the basement? Send the automatic message, and it will be already of great help for your other teammates. Trust me. For hunters, I know how overwhelming hunter gameplay can be. And especially as a beginner, it will be hard to figure out how to use your skills properly against 4 people. My tip for you is beware of kiting that takes too long. You might have found a survivor and maybe you've hit them and you're so close to hitting them again, but somehow they find their way around all the time. You might fixate on them because it's frustrating, but the moment 2 ciphers have been made and you're still after the same survivor, try to switch up. Maybe use a teleport or move to where you've seen a survivor recently. That will build up cipher pressure, which basically means to slow down the ciphering machine as you've gotten another survivor of the cipher and the one you left probably needs to start a new one. However, switching targets can be tricky and you'll need to learn about the right timing to do so. Lastly, one simple tip. Play the characters that you like. All of the characters have a difficulty level, which means their skills may be a bit more difficult to use than other characters. Well, who cares? If you want to try playing a 3 stars level character, do it. And if you enjoy it, you'll even master them. I've started playing with a 2 stars difficulty character, which is considered hard for a new player, but I thought she was so much fun. And that's why I'm still playing this after 2 years. So I think I've gathered all the basics and everything that you need to know to start playing this game right away. Maybe some details, like I couldn't go too much in depth about kiting, as it is really something that you need to learn by playing. I'm not joking, there is a lot of tips and tricks and a lot of more other guides that focus on kiting, and so this was just to make a general guide. And other than that, this is everything you need to know, and I'll leave you right now. I hope this guide was helpful, and if you're interested in seeing more gaming content and maybe learn more about games, make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment on how you thought this guide was. Did it help you? Maybe leave something about your experience with Identity 5, who knows? We all have stories about this game. So I'll catch you another time. Bye bye!